Oh, it's not on. Okay, good. My computer's freezing. Give me 2 seconds. It's just like, it's there, but it's just... Welcome back to bChic, Not Bougie. I'm your host, Alicia, alongside DJ Richie. How you doing tonight?
Good.
You're good. We had a little bit of a delay. You know, we just getting things together. But, you know,
back,
new year.
2019, yeah.
2019, new start.
Excited.
A lot going on. So much to talk about because there are so many things happening. Bye. There's so many things happening. I mean, over the holiday break, I mean, we have plenty to talk about this show. We do have a guest, as per usual, because my bestie's in the building. Shout out to Candace. Real estate, if you're looking for any homes, condos.
Hit me up, Candace Henry Real Estate.
There you go. So yeah, she'll be here joining the conversation. You can also now watch us live, like you're watching us now, on YouTube Live, as well as Facebook Live. I know we'll be posting the link just now. So if you're on Facebook Live watching it, we can also now stream it on YouTube. So be prepared. Eventually, we're going to have people calling in. So it's going to be a lot to expect for the New Year's. I'm excited. It's going to be a good look. It's going to be a fresh start. Good year. Beautiful. So how was your New Year's? Was it good?
New Year's was good. I can't complain.
And Christmas?
Christmas was really good. Christmas was good, not for me, but in terms of just like
the kids.
The kids. Yeah. They enjoyed it. So we're getting more and more kids because like everyone's having children now.
Yeah.
So like a lot of kids are coming to like Christmas dinners and stuff. So it was good. It was good. Everybody had a good time. New Year's was good. I didn't go too hard on New Year's. I think like in terms of like drinking and big celebrating.
Yeah.
It was more calm. It was relaxed. So
it was relaxed.
Getting older.
Okay. I feel you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Ours wasn't too chill. We were turned up.
No, I saw you.
We were turned up
I saw you
for New
guys.
Year's. We decided to ring this New Year's in with a bang. So we went to a house party. Shout out to Gilly. He did a really good house party. Let's not tell too much people because it's going to be too random. But, you know, it's a really great time. That's what I expect for New Year's. I just want to ring it in with friends and strangers, but a good vibe and atmosphere, local food, some drinks, and
for sure.
good music. And I'm good. So that was great. My Christmas was just very chill. Family, cooking all day, exhausting. But, you know, that's Christmas. It's for the kids. So opening gifts was a big deal for them. So they all had a great time doing that. I was excited about that. But overall, yeah, it was pretty good. I can't complain. I had a great one. So we can get into the show. Let's get into our Stay Woke news updates. So a woman has died after becoming trapped in a donation box in the city's Bloor-Court Village neighborhood early this morning. And I first almost wanted to kiki, but she died. So that's nothing to kiki about. It's actually very serious. So investigators say a female was heard by witnesses screaming for help shortly before 2 a.m. after she became trapped in the clothing donation box behind a building near Bloor Street and Dovercourt Road. So police say half of the woman's body was stuck out of the box when the emergency crew arrived on the scene, and she was without vital signs when the firefighters managed to pull her from the bin. Despite efforts to resuscitate her, she was pronounced dead on the scene. The incident is not considered to be suspicious, but has been ruled death by misadventure, police say.
What is a donation box?
You see those for clothing for the homeless?
How does she get trapped in there?
Okay, so obviously, this is what they're saying. There's been incidents before that this happened, where people trying to get clothes, because instead of waiting at the shelters to get the clothing, because obviously they collect the clothes and they bring them to a location, and that's where they distribute the clothing. So instead of that, I guess they were trying to get them, get the goods before it was time to get shipped to, those locations, and they got trapped. So they're saying that these are actually not that you're supposed to be going in them, but I mean, you shouldn't be getting trapped and dying in these in the first place. So they're not safe. So they've actually been taking a lot of these away from like certain locations, like British Columbia. There's already 2 incidents of these already happening. So they took them away. So they may be looking into that, or just kind of making it a little bit more safer, obviously, because she died. Like, that's kind of scary. Very sad, you know what I mean? And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure she was just trying to get warm, get a couple of clothes. Who knows what she was trying to get in there? Or maybe just trying to get warm by getting into the box, thinking the clothes will keep me warm and I'm in a closed area. But she got stuck, and that's kind of scary. I would love to know how it looks inside, because how does that happen? Do you know what I mean?
I wonder if maybe she fell asleep and froze or something.
No, they said that the way her body was in there, she got stuck. And then she had no vital signs, and she was dead on arrival.
So what killed her? Like, what was it that
something could have crushed her? They never specified exactly what it was, but they just said that it was, after they examined it, it's a safety hazard inside there. So it could just be the way it's set up inside. Like, we don't know what it looks like inside, so I can't sit here and pretend like I know. But it could be like metal, the way maybe it crushed her chest. It could have crushed one of her organs when she got stuck in there, you know what I mean? And after a while, you can't breathe. So when she got the help, it was kind of too late, obviously. So I know. I thought it was something I had to mention, because if people see anybody even attempting to try to reach into those boxes, homeless or not, just please try to stop them, because obviously it's not something that just happened once. It's now probably like the 3rd time so far that we know of, at least. And moving on, 2 suspects have been arrested after police say the male was assaulted, robbed of his Xbox at knife point, and thrown from a vehicle in Newcastle over the weekend.
For an Xbox?
They're not joking about these things,
What's happening out here, man?
So according to police, at around 10:20 p.m. January 5th, the male was offered a ride to a friend's house by another male and 3 other passengers. Never get into a person's car that you don't know.
He said it was his friend, or just a random
person?
It
just says during the ride. Okay, no. So it just says, offered a ride to a friend's house. It didn't say that was the friend.
Offered a ride
to a friend's house. During the ride, police say 3 suspects assaulted the male, produced a knife, and stole his gaming console along with other personal items. The victim was thrown out of the vehicle and left on the roadway, police alleged, and he suffered minor injuries. 2 suspects were later identified and arrested in connection with the incident. And police say Coles Pollock, 19, and 16-year-old female who cannot be identified, was charged with robbery, possession of a weapon, dangerous to the public, and theft under $5,000. Investigators are searching for the other two suspects in connection with the case, and if you have any information, please contact Crime Stoppers or Durham Regional Police. Be careful.
For Xbox?
For Xbox.
That's ridiculous.
Is Xbox are still in?
Yes.
I think
yeah. I mean,
I guess, but not enough to be robbing people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not like brand new, like
just came out.
Yeah.
It's not an iPhone 10. I don't know. It's just a little bit much.
Not that we are saying you should
Just
rob people
if it's a
For
brand new
iPhone
item.
10.
Thank you, Richie. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Disclaimer.
Yes, that is not what we're trying to say. I'm just saying, like, sheesh, it's kind of old now, so I don't really know what the point of that is, and is it worth going to jail or getting charges? And lastly, a 20-year-old man is facing charges after driver crashed into a Porsche dealership downtown on Monday night. So the collision occurred near Parliament and Front Street shortly before 11 p.m. Following the collision, witnesses reported seeing the driver get out of his vehicle, walk into the dealership, and scribble on some of the luxury cars with marker. The driver was taken into custody on Monday night and has been charged with dangerous operation of a motor vehicle and mischief of property over $5,000.
So he did this on purpose.
I'm assuming so, but that's it? $5,000, that's all? On luxury cars?
That's kind of crazy because I saw one of the cars that he smashed into.
Really?
No way.
Yeah, because they had a picture on.
Oh, I thought he was like down the road from the car.
Oh no! I saw it online and it was like if you crash to a Porsche dealership.
That's what I'm saying.
And like the whole side, it was a blue Porsche, I think, and the whole side was like damaged. So I definitely think that's more than $5,000.
And then he scribbled.
And then he scribbled on some.
So I'm just trying to understand how it's a little over
did.
5,000. I'm thinking over 20,000.
Nah, he did damage, but I didn't know it was on purpose. That's interesting. He's just.
Well, for him to scribble, I'm assuming it had
drugs?
to be, right?
Maybe he was writing, "I'm sorry."
Or I'll be back. I will bring my check.
Exactly. I'll be back.
I agree. People do that sometimes.
I don't know. Like they stopped him before he could get it all out.
I agree.
Sorry.
Okay, well, that's it for Say Woke News updates. And Richie, what's going on for events?
So yeah, things kind of slow down for Christmas season and stuff in terms of a lot of people traveling, a lot of people spending money elsewhere. But back to the new year, people are ready to party and have fun and do things again. So starting on Friday, ASAP Rocky is in town. He's on tour, actually. It's called his Injured Generation Tour. And that is taking place at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, which I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that before.
Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Coca-Cola Coliseum.
I haven't either.
Never heard of it. I'm assuming it's one of those places that was a place and then they changed the name. Like Coke bought it and or bought the naming rights to it. But that's happening this Friday at Coca-Cola Coliseum. So definitely get tickets for that. If you're an ASAP Rocky fan, I can't name 5 ASAP Rocky songs. I mean, he's pretty dope, but yeah.
No.
Saturday, January the 12th, Just for Laughs presents the host of The Daily Show, Trevor Noah. So I don't know if this guy is really that funny. I've seen him on The Daily Show. He's not bad.
He's not bad.
Like, he took over from that guy. It was a white guy, and he was older. He did The Daily Show. Jon Stewart. Was it Jon Stewart?
I'm going to say yeah because it sounds
I think it was Jon Stewart and The Daily Show. So he took over for him. So he's been doing pretty good things and had, like, really dope guests. So he's, I guess, doing a comedy show now that's happening at the Sony Center this Saturday downtown. Also happening on Saturday, the Toronto premiere of Jazzatry. So it's Jazz-itry, like poetry.
Ooh, that sounds
I like that.
Jazzatry, yes. So it's a night of spoken word, vocals, and live music.
That's a nice date.
Very nice.
I like that. It's a very nice date. Now, how much?
So this is taking place at the 120 Diner, and tickets for this are $20. It's $20.
That's really good. That's a great date.
You want to be my date?
I'll be your date, girl. We can go on a date. Okay, I'm down for that.
So that's So I'm guessing Jazzatry is something that they do elsewhere because you're saying it's the Toronto premiere, and it sounds like something that will take off. Happening at 120 Diner, located at Church and Richmond, at the corner of Church Street and Richmond Street. Also happening Friday night for the party fans, Climax 6.0. So this is celebrating the birthday of Black's Done the Place, a Toronto DJ, household name. And he is bringing up live from Jamaica, Firelinks. Firelinks is a very, very, very big DJ in Jamaica, has been for many, many years. So that should be a very good party. That's happening on the east side at Crave Banquet Hall, 55 Nugget Avenue in Scarborough. And tickets for that start at $25. And last but not least, Sunday, I think it's maybe a week early or so, but it's still taking place, and we're going to give it a shout out. It is We Shall Overcome, which is a celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. happening at the Corner Hall. So basically, they're going to have 5 singers, just kind of like it's just a music celebration, and they're going to be singing songs from Aretha Franklin, Duke Ellington, Stevie Wonder, Nina Simone, and Donna Hathaway.
They better bring it.
Yes.
They can't just be singing those songs and not bring it.
At the Corner Hall, which is the Telus Center for Performance and Learning, and tickets for that are $40.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great night, actually, too.
That's date number 2.
That's date number 2. I like that. I like that. Thanks for that, Richie.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, no, wait.
Wait. Very, very important.
You almost forgot.
Okay, so this is very important. And I'm like picking out the dates that I'm going to attend, which might be every single one of them. But we are definitely giving a lot of push and a lot of promotion to regenerating our roots. So every second Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. it's for kids. Is it specific to boys or girls?
No, boys
just
and
for
girls.
Boys and girls from ages 7 to 13. So it's kind of like a drop-in. You come in, you have fun, and every second Friday they have like a different night, a different type of event, and I think it's so cool. So this is gonna start the 18th, January 18th is music night. February, they're going to have a speaker. March is make a book, and so many more. There's a video game competition coming up, but you guys got to stay tuned. You guys got to pay attention and listen out for the date. A video game competition coming up. Delicia, you cannot enter. This is only for these ages.
Oh my God.
But yes, regenerating
I'm
our
actually
roots.
of age. I'm 8 years old.
Oh, I won't.
Legally.
I'm not going to say
Leap
anything.
your baby.
This is taking place at Turner Fenton Secondary School in the city of Brampton, 7935 Kennedy Road South. Pretty close to my house. I can probably walk.
And it's free.
And it's free. You hear that, people? You guys
Free
know I'm all
99.
about the free. All right? So definitely regenerating our roots. I think it's a great program. Shout out to Candace and her team and everybody else. And yeah, that's what's up.
That sounds great. Thank you, Richie. Okay, so this week's Fashion Buzz, I had to, because he has been a mogul he's been for a good while now, but I feel like all of like the last couple of years, and this year I feel like it's going to be a big year for him as well. This week's Fashion Buzz legend is DJ Khaled, also known as Khalid Muhammad, or Khalid again. It's like twice, the beginning of his name and the last.
Khalid Muhammad Khaled?
Yeah, it's the same. No, Khalid Muhammad Khaled. Sorry, I said Khalid.
Khalid Muhammad Khaled?
Yeah, I know Wikipedia was wrong, but it doubled his name. You can Google that, but it doubled his name for me. So I'm just reading what I've seen on Wikipedia because they need to be right. So he was born November 26, 1975, and he is obviously a DJ, record producer, media personality, and a record executive. He was a radio host for the Miami-based urban music radio station WEDR 99 Jams, and the DJ for the hip-hop group Terror Squad. From 2004 to 2006, he assisted the production of the hip-hop albums Real Talks by Fabulous, True Story by Terror Squad, and All or Nothing, and Me, Myself, and I by Fat Joe. I'm saying 1996. Lord, I'm taking it back. In 2006, Khalid, he released his debut single album Listen, and the album was released and went on to release We the Best in 2007. We Global 2008, Victory 2010, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So what I really wanted to get into is let's see here, his acting. So he dabbled a little bit of different things. So he was the cast to provide a voice of the animated film Spies in Disguise, which is due to be released in September 13, 2019, which is coming up. He's writing, and so in 2016, he wrote a book, The Keys, which includes the opinions of success, recounts life stories, and describes contributions from other music moguls. Also, his future line, We the Best Home, which is something I was like, oh, really? He inspired by his own home and lifestyle. He designed a new luxury furniture line, We the Best Home, and launched in August 2018. He's doing everything. I absolutely love him. And I'm not sure if you guys do know this, but one of his favorite artists is Buju Banton. And he actually, before he went to prison, he is the one who put on his concert before, like, his, sending him off to prison before he went to prison. And then he is also, like, welcomed him as soon as he got back. I just feel like a lot of people all over the world, they love him. He's very inspiring. He always has words of inspiration and quotes. He's so positive. Like, I love the fact that his son is already a millionaire, because not even on his, like, it's my daddy's money, it's his own money. And he pushes his son in a way that I feel like we really need to push ourselves and our children when they get to that age, because it's like crazy. Because, I mean, your kids can really make a lot of money. I'm just saying. I'm not saying to push them that hard, but come on. So some things I was finding really interested when I was looking at his book even. So there was a few things that kind of stood out. It was when you speak it into existence, it will happen. That is so facts. So he was just saying, like, I knew the framed magazine covers were coming, and the gold plaques and the platinum plaques. I envisioned it all. And one of my gifts is that I can see the pathway early. That I really need in my life, because please help me. help me with that, Jesus. But and then he just kept giving a bunch more situations in his life that kind of helped him get to where he is. Also, he has removing what makes you unhappy will make you happy. So he says, removing what make you unhappy will make you happy. That sounds obvious. He's like, but believe me, people tend to forget to take out the trash all the time, which is kind of true. And another thing he said is make grooming a part of your ritual. It's like putting your game face on. It builds your confidence and it gets your mind in the right zone. My teacher, I'll never forget, a long time ago when I was taking fashion marketing and merchandising, she said, always put your best foot forward. Doesn't matter where you're going, just dress up. You never know who you're going to meet, you never know who you're going to bump into. I've kind of always lived like that because my mother, she's always been like, oh, put some heels on, and but I really think he's a big inspiration. Keys to success, major key alert. You're always trying to motivate others around you, and you're always bringing other people up. And I think that makes you a legend in itself. So kudos to you. This is why we had to make you Fashion Buzz Legend of the Week. And do you want to say something?
Khaled, he made me like question myself.
I can't.
No, because
in a good way or a bad way?
I don't even know yet. I still haven't figured out the answer. I would watch interviews with him and stuff, and he was just always so positive.
I love it.
And I was just like, this nigga faking it.
No.
I'm like, this nigga faking it. Like, you cannot be happy all the time and have like such an optimistic view of life. Like, it just made me be like, maybe you're the problem. Like, maybe like me watching him, I'm just like, why can't I be like that positive and that optimistic and just be like, yo, no matter what happens, like, I'm just blessed, I'm just thankful, and I get it's a great way to live. Yeah. If you can actually really do it and it be genuine. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think like a lot of times I looked at it and I'm just like, is this like a real, like a front, or is it like?
He reminds me of a motivational speaker.
Yeah, and I don't like them. Because I just feel like, it's not that I don't like them. I just feel like I like people, and this is nothing against Khaled. Yes, like he's very successful, and you get what I'm feeling. But it's like, I need people to tell me like, yeah, be very optimistic, be very positive, be very like ambitious. Yeah. But this is what you do when you hit those roadblocks. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like all of that positivity, it's just like, okay, cool, I get all of that. Mm-hmm. But what if I'm in a situation right now that's like everywhere I go, it's like a roadblock? Like, how do you maintain that?
Yeah, I feel like he would say, in my mind,
in your Khaled mind,
surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that would build you up. You know what I mean? I think we tend to, when we're going through like our down times, we want to isolate ourselves. We want to be in our own little zone, but that doesn't help us really grow. I think we sit in that dark place until we're finally ready to get out. And when we finally get out, that's when things start to change. Mm-hmm. If we just have that mind frame, that switch instantly to say, I'm not going to stay inside and be depressed, or I'm not going to stay inside to be sad for a moment. I'm going to go out and surround myself around people that I want to be like, or I want to grow and learn from. And I constantly feel like that's what he did. Like he even says here, he's like, what did he say? Instead of seeking happiness by buying luxury items, opt to spend that money outsourcing and eliminating tasks and responsibilities that bring negativity into your life. I feel like he's always trying to look for that positive. So if something is going wrong, I'm not going to sit here and dwell on that. I'm not going to surround myself around the negative Nancys to bring me even further down. I feel like he's constantly just trying to, even when I seen like old videos of him in Jamaica, because he was going to Jamaica from time, and this is before he was really big, and he was DJing at those little, those sketchy parties, but we love them dance. So he's always at those parties, and you see you can feel his energy. You can feel that same energy he had then is what he has now. And he has more now. So to me, it's interesting to see how passionate he was then. It's like that hunger never died. You look at people like Kanye, who was so passionate, who had that same hunger. And then now that they have everything, it's like they're a weirdo. You know what I mean? But like they isolate themselves. They do things differently, where he's like, no, I need to teach you. Yeah, I'm going to teach you the keys to success. I'm going to teach you the things that I did differently. And that's why I'm in this position. And even with his son, like, look how many celebrities have money more than him, and their children, no offense, I'm not saying they're not rich, because they are, since they have parents like you, but they don't have their children's own money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't just say, here you go. Like, his son is legitly doing big things. And he like, here, I'm going to put this in my son's name. This is your album. Like, I love that, because he's constantly pushing for better before he even realizes it. You know what I mean? And to me, that just says, it just comes off very genuine.
No, I like Khaled. I like Khaled because he's one of the people that, when it comes to like dance hall, because in the past few years, a lot of people have been like, oh, there's like culture vultures, people that are coming in and taking from dance hall just for the moment because it's what's hot, and then they're gone. And even when Khaled came and took Bougie, or he went to Jamaica to go see Bougie and videotaped in pictures and everything, everyone was like, oh, he's trying to take the hype from. I'm like,
they need to go back and research.
Like, these are people who don't know Khaled's history. I'm like, and I always tell people, if you go back and watch Shatta's, DJ Khaled is in Shatta's.
Yes.
And everybody's like, no, he's not. I'm like, yes, he is. I'm like, go to the scene with Wyclef in front of the restaurant with his little son.
I gotta go watch
and
that.
they pull up on him. They pull up on Spraga and the Marley. They pull up on him and they come on the top. And DJ Khaled is in the back, slim as me.
He's very slim.
Like, he's smaller than me.
He's slim.
And he's just in the background, like, and I'm just like, from that, it's like he's been, and I've seen the videos with him like playing at these dances,
and he's
in
calling
Jamaica,
out the songs. He's not like, I'm gonna just play the songs. He's, how you go to dance hall parties and the DJs so like the MC all night, chat. That was him. I was like, and everybody was rating him the whole night, because
that's why it's just love, like, I give him that respect, because it's like, you've been there. Even when nobody else wanted to be there, when everybody else kind of shunned it, and nobody else was like, nah,
he was right up in there.
There's no market there. Like, you were like, okay, but I'm here because of the love for it. Yeah. So that's why he gets a pass. You know what I mean?
He gets more than a pass. He's family. He's invited to every picnic, dinner, family reunion. But we do got to move on. I know we have to get off the topic, because R. Kelly is going to be too much for us to talk about this entire show. So we have a half an hour, a little under, just to get into this R. Kelly stuff. So many of you have watched Surviving R. Kelly, the documentary that debuted on Thursday night, January 4th. And despite the pressure from R. Kelly's legal team, who reportedly threatened to sue the network for running the 6-part series, executive produced by Dream Hampton. So Lifetime, however, continued to air the documentary into the weekend. And obviously a lot of people, it was an uproar, had many thoughts about it. I have a lot to say. I know they do as well. So if you do, go ahead and get in the chat. Just let us know what you're feeling. I'm just going to kind of break it down. We can all kind of say our piece. That way we kind of get through a little bit more than we need to. So the documentary featured more than 50 testimonies from journalists, families, fellow musicians, and members of Kelly's circle throughout his career, who came forward to share their experience. So number one, this is what kind of struck me, and they did this right in the beginning, which made a lot more sense to me. And I kind of remembered him doing this in the beginning when the interview happened, but it kind of also slipped my mind. But R. Kelly was molested as a child, starting at the age of 7. So for those who didn't watch it, Robert Kelly grew up in the inner city projects of Chicago as one of the 4 children of Kelly family. His father wasn't in the picture at a young age, and the episode titled "The Pied Piper of R&B," the Chicago-based R&B singer explained in 2002 interview with Travis Smiley, he was wrongly exposed to sex at a very early age, and he was molested within family members and so forth from the age of 7 to about 13 or 14. This to me explains a lot of kind of the way he is at this point in time. I'm not excusing his actions by any means, but he also is a victim, and that also trickles down to him now taking on that role and doing these things to these girls that, you know, he is supposed to be mentoring and bringing up in the industry. I'm not sure if you guys want to chime in on that part at all, but I feel like that kind of helped me understand a little bit of why he wanted to be around little girls so much. Because for me, I felt like, why are you with these little girls? Like, there's pure sexy women, older women that look young, to be honest. So like, you really don't have to go for the younger little girls. But I mean, obviously,
He was already psychologically damaged.
and that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sitting here saying by any means what he's been doing was right and excuses, because I feel like everybody has a choice. You have a choice at that point. You were molested. I know sometimes you don't want to speak up right away, but eventually to, you know, get help, seek help. You know something's wrong. You know you don't want to do this or don't want to get in trouble for it. Find a way to change it. I know Richie has nothing to say about that, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. R. Kelly's former personal assistant claims Kelly thought he got Aaliyah pregnant. So prior to airing The Surviving R. Kelly, one of the trailers featured a former backup singer, Javante Cunningham, alleged that she saw Kelly having sex with Aaliyah on their tour bus one night when the door in the bedroom was accidentally swung open. And to me, what really got me upset, I'm going to get into something else after that. What really got me upset with watching that is these people were all on the bus with you. So everybody that's seen this never spoke up, never said anything. And not long after that, that's when they got rushed and got married. Now, another person that was in this was Demetrius Smith, who got emotional when he reflected on the time R. Kelly allegedly came to him fearing that he got her pregnant and that he wanted to get her married. So he actually forged the papers, because Aaliyah was 15 at the time, R. Kelly was 27. He forged the papers so that they could go and get married. Now, again, I feel so horrible, but I'm going to tell you guys what's going on. But where's your accountability? Where do these people lie when it comes to the finger pointing? We are all blaming R. Kelly, and 100% he needs to be in jail. He needs to, you know, condoned and whatever the case may be. But I feel like we keep looking past all these survivors that came on the show or the people that were in his camp that were grabbing these little girls. Because apparently, did you watch it, Richie?
Parts of it.
Parts of it. Okay. So apparently, I'm not sure if you guys are watching it, but they were going to high schools. Okay. So you're going to high school, and the principal was on this as well. Principal from a school saying, I recall seeing R. Kelly. There was coaches saying they seen R. Kelly with little girls, and then they were bringing them. So as a principal, you don't feel like stopping this to say, hey, these are underage students. They're minors. You need to leave the premises. You do not need to be on, like, are you a father of one of these daughters? Are you know what I mean? Like, there was nobody stopping this. And so as I was watching it, I was getting more and more frustrated with the people that were coming forward, because someone made a reference to this, that Lifetime is actually a reality show. So it's a documentary, but it's a reality show. Let's be real. It's not CNN. This is not going to the courthouse or taking it to the police. You guys are not trying to say, I want justice. You guys want your 50 minutes of fame. And I'm not saying that you don't need it, but I mean 50 minutes of fame in the wrong light, because you're getting paid for this. And I think that a lot of these people are trying to use that to their benefit. Like, maybe the money slowed down with R. Kelly. Maybe things aren't going well with themselves. And yes, they want to come forward and say their story, but some of their stories didn't really make sense to me. And so They're very questionable. And another girl that came to mind was Lizette Martinez. And she reminded me of Selena. I'm not sure if you guys are watching it, but she looked like Selena. She was a very pretty girl. She was very young at the time. I believe, I think she was about 17 or 16, right? 16. So 16 years old, wanting to be a singer. And the common thing the trend that I've noticed with all these girls is they all wanted to be singers. They all wanted to be some kind of star. And so when she came to him, it was like they saw him at a mall. She instantly knew who he was. And so when she looked over and smiled, he kind of was like, yeah, gave the number, or I think one of his people gave the number for her, and they linked up. Once that happened, he told her to come over. I think she went into the tour bus, and he told her to perform oral sex on him. And just like that, you did it. I'm not saying, like, people are trying to say she's young, she's naive. I remember myself at 16. Right. Matter of fact, I remember myself at 12 years old. And ain't no man, unless it was, I'm gonna be real with you guys, unless it was Tupac. There was nobody that was gonna make me do some dumb shit like that. And even that, I would be like, Tupac, no, let's just chill. Can I get to know you a little bit more before we do that? But there was nobody that I was going to do that for. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that this is not possible. I just feel like...
And even if that's what she wanted to do at that age, you know that you should or should not be doing it if you do or do not want to do it. It's not necessarily a forced thing.
And people were saying, oh, they were brainwashed. Now, she was even saying, she just met the man. You can't be brainwashed in a day. So she's like, I didn't enjoy it, but I did it, or I didn't want to do
it.
Exactly.
You're excited about the person that it is.
He told me that I'm going to be a star. He's going to make me a star. So you were doing things to gain something in return. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but my whole thing is take accountability for what you were also doing in the situation, because you were not dumb. You knew how old the man was, and a lot of them acted like Google didn't exist at this time, but Google definitely existed around these times.
And even if it did it, you know that man is a grown man
compared to you. A grown man.
Come on.
He's a grown man. And the thing is like, yes, he's going after all these younger ladies, but it's like you have to obviously know that there's a time where you say, okay, I think even the girl's mother eventually was trying to stop her, and her best friend was trying to stop her, and she continued to see the man. It wasn't until apparently, I guess he did write a song. I didn't know this until this time, but MJ's #1 Billboard hit, "You Are Not Alone," and she stated that the song was about her because she was in high school, and she claimed she was pregnant. And she later had a miscarriage. She also said she didn't want to have the kid for him because of the type of person he was and didn't want to have to carry that on. But you can continue sleeping with him. And people can be upset with me. I don't care. But let's be serious. And then she also mentioned that she caught mono from the singer, and that's actually what put her in ICU. And 2 weeks since he didn't contact her. I think the only time he contacted her was to send $1,000 to her family for the hospital check, and that was the last time they kind of had word. And her best friend was like, stop talking to him. Does that sound like these people can leave? I'm just saying, like, you could stop this relationship. They say surviving, but I just feel like you're coattailing. Like you're doing what you know how old he is. He knows how old you are. He's wrong, hands down, period. Yeah. But where is your part in this? Where is your family's part in this? Because your family also.
You have parents. Yeah.
Okay. He then married Andrea Lee in a hotel room. So Andrea, my problem with Andrea, I'm sorry.
That's his wife?
Yeah.
The one that ended up being his wife?
It ended up being his wife. She kept his last name, so she's Kelly at the end. She has 3 children with him, and she would have to, like, in the beginning, she said, obviously we all know that he didn't really know how to read or write, and she taught him. He asked to teach her, like, she was 19 at the time, and asked to teach her how to read and write, and eventually had that connection and that bond. And she said it wasn't until she moved into the house and everything started to change. For me, I just feel like, yeah, once it started changing,
don't you see
didn't want to leave? Like, I don't know. Okay. So
I know it's funny, like, I understand, it's understandable that, you know, certain people are young, but at the end of the day, like you're saying, like, people have to really open your eyes. You can't be that
And all these things,
Like, I don't-
Aaliyah's already passed. All these situations are already
So
in
why
the
are you
news.
even gonna take a chance? You're just gonna
With the
take
person.
a chance with this person? Like, so what if he's a celebrity? Like, at the end of the day, I can see a celebrity that I might have been interested in, but if I hear 101, oh, he beat me up, I don't know if I'm really gonna even want to take that chance
At
anymore.
all.
Especially when people have money, they have power. So if he really wants to do you something, he's gonna do it. Like, it's common sense. Well, don't put yourself in a situation
I
you don't want to
agree.
be in.
And then she did mention she was abused mentally, physically, and all that stuff. I haven't seen any pictures or videos. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I don't know. If I was abused and I felt like this was my situation, I would want to get as much evidence as I possibly can to protect myself. And then to also stop him from doing it to other people. But none of these people have any actual evidence to prove anything. We all own cameras and cell phones.
Well, there was
but
some camera stuff.
Oh, there was camera stuff. But the thing is R. Kelly, he videotaped everything. You know what I mean? So his sex tapes are obviously out there. Even getting into the sex tape stuff, if you guys mentioned Sparkle. Do you remember Sparkle?
I sure do.
Okay, so Sparkle, now this is my problem with Sparkle because right away she was condoning R. Kelly. He's a horrible person, Ray J. Again, yes, he is. My problem with you is I remember her saying that she was sitting down with him at the house and she heard from the inside. So she's like, what is that? And he's just like, I don't know. And then they heard it again and they look back and she said she's seen a little head peep out. And it was Andrea Kelly. And she said, can I get something to eat? He goes, yeah, sure. Go ahead. So she was like right away, oh, I could never. That could never be me. Like, I can't believe he even treats these girls like that. But then you continue to work with him. And then you worked on your album. And then while she was doing her song, he controlled everything. So that's when I realized he was very possessive and controlling. Nobody was allowed to speak to her while she was there filming. So she'd go walk around and talk to people and no one could talk back to her. So when she was filming, he did everything from the hair, the set, what she did, flipping her hair, any little detail, it was all him. And then he decided to even join the song with her. Problem that I have with that is once you realize he was controlling and you didn't want to work with him, why would you then go introduce your 12-year-old niece to this man to go work with him? Richie, I'm sorry. I just have a question. Why are you so silent over here?
Honestly.
You're mute. You mute. Why are you so mute? What's going on?
Because I haven't formed
an opinion about it.
Yeah.
Based on what we're saying.
Finalized. I based on that stuff and everything I've read and seen and watched.
I'm looking over at him and I'm like,
it's
yeah,
a lot.
I know, me too.
It's a lot because I feel like if you go on YouTube and you type in why red is not a color, you will find people that will scientifically prove why red is not a color. They'll put together things. I've watched documentaries on why Jay-Z is Illuminati, why he's the devil, why he is the devil's son, why he's Jesus. When you want to prove a point, you will produce something to prove that point.
Agreed.
I have a lot of thoughts on it.
Okay.
But it's just that I don't know where to even begin. All these people that want him to go to jail now, the problem is, one, he's not going to jail. He's not going to jail.
I agree.
Because they recorded, they interviewed, they edited, they produced this entire documentary with all these stories and all this evidence. And then before there's one police officer response or one authority, one legal response, there's a documentary put out to go against him, and now everybody's coming out saying he should go to jail. Wait a minute. Why aren't you guys all saying, why didn't you guys take all this evidence to the police?
Thank you.
And then have him investigated before you produce a documentary for views and for numbers and for ratings.
And on life.
And so that's one. Two, like you said, there's a 50-minute of fame factor to it. And I don't know one way or the other. The ones that I do know, he married Aaliyah. That was never a secret. It was never...
Everybody knew about it.
He peed on the little girl and it was recorded. That was
it.
never a secret. You went to court for everything. Cool. Those are the ones we know.
You got acquitted for those charges, unfortunately.
Those things within themselves were not enough for everyone who has the backlash now to be like, I'm not going to work with you. You're not going to write any more of my songs. I'm not going to associate myself with you. I'm not going to go on tour with you. I'm not going to be on your album. You're not going to. But now people want to come out and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I worked with R. Kelly. I'm not going to be performing any more of his songs.
Exactly.
I'm not going to. But I knew about Aaliyah since I was like
Forever.
8,
Yeah.
9, 10.
Yeah.
Right? I knew about him pissing on the little girl. The Boondocks.
I saw the
made
video.
an entire
Everything.
episode of it.
Everything.
And even at the end of the Boondocks episode, Huey, which is the Afro one,
Yeah.
he's dancing in the courtroom and they're playing the music, and then Huey stops him and he's like, "What the hell are you guys doing? Like, do you not like?
Do you see what this man has
Do
done?
you see what?
Yeah.
And this is over 10 years ago.
I know.
So for me, when the documentary came out and everybody was on up, I was like, why is anybody in the least bit shocked or appalled or amazed
At all.
at anything about R. Kelly right now?
Exactly.
Why? Tell me why.
Well, it's
We
probably because it's a
knew.
refresher, right? You know, like
I get it.
People forgot about it for a while, just like
Yeah.
anything else, and now they're bringing it back up.
And
again.
then he now is also saying he's going to put out a website
Yeah.
to disprove everything that these people are saying. He's like,
They blocked it actually, but
50%,
they're going to bring it back.
50%. Yeah, they did. 50% of, because they were attacking like the
Yeah.
survivors.
Survivors.
He said 50% of them he's never met. He doesn't know who they are. He's
No
never heard of
way.
them. Yeah. He said 50% of these women I have never seen
in the video
before
itself,
in my
or just
life.
people acclaim?
No, in the
Yeah.
documentary. From the documentary, he said he does not even know who some of these people are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not on your side one way or the other, but everybody that had a story to tell, you could have told your story before Lifetime came to you
1000%.
and offered you something. Before Lifetime came, because now it's the big uproar. And then I feel like everybody takes these things and, oh, this is why people don't speak up about these things, because when they do, they're not believed. Or this is
not
why
even
black
it.
women aren't supported because they're not being protected by our black men. Or no,
Yeah.
no, none of this is about that. If R. Kelly was doing all these things and all these people were complicit and all these people were a part of it, one, you shouldn't be giving them any fame.
And no light.
You shouldn't be giving
Go to
them no
court.
light. Exactly.
Because it's made him. You know how much hits he got
Of
just off of this
course.
documentary, and
His
that always
album
happens.
sales-
That always happens.
His album sales have gone up on
know-
on all media platforms.
Pause. But do you guys know that
That's
he
kinda
went from
sad too, if you think
from
about it.
150 million network to 1 million. He only has 1 million.
R. Kelly?
R. Kelly. I went online and checked his network, and he
I think that was
only
impossible.
check it.
Net worth,
Yeah,
Check
I think
it.
it's impossible
but
because
he did lose money. Even in the
He
documentary,
has
they
1
lost his
million.
house.
Check
but
the
the
network
only
online.
thing
Boy,
is
bro.
he has the royalties.
Go online and check the network.
Royalties
This up to this
are
point,
crazy.
It's what it says 1 million. I was shocked.
I think he has more than
It
that.
even says it's shocking, like a $1 million. I don't know, but I
I
checked
have
it.
to research that.
Unless
I checked-
maybe
He
he's
has
lying
more.
or
Or
whoever's
that.
doing it
course.
Because
doesn't
50
charge
Cent
course.
filed for bankruptcy
Facts, right.
many,
Of
many
course.
times.
But how do you go from 150 to 1 million? It's drastic.
100%.
Anyways, I googled that and
You
checked
never
it
know, paying
online.
Legal
Yeah,
fees, that's
but
expensive,
I mean,
that's
there's just so
costly.
many different angles to this,
And the
I'm just
parents.
like,
And I'm sorry, the parents pissed me off.
everybody, and Aaliyah's parents, God rest her soul, God bless her soul, whatever. Do not swear for your child.
Do you see that?
Please do not
They-
say
she did not
"Oh,
sleep with her. They did
we
not.
went
They
everywhere
got
with
married,
her.
they didn't sleep
Bruh,
together?
you were not everywhere with this girl when she's on
Yeah.
tour
Mm-hmm.
with an international super. No, you were not everywhere with her.
What really got me upset too was there's 3 girls that are still living apparently with R. Kelly, and their parents are. He's holding them hostage. He's been there. I haven't seen my daughter for 3 years and so forth.
How?
First of all,
Please.
What
my
really
kids-
upset
and I
me-
know where they are. You're crazy.
what really upset me was one of them in particular. A lot of them, obviously, but one in particular. I know it was. I think it was. There was Jocelyn, Dominique, and Azriel. I think it was Azriel. She wanted to be a singer as per usual. She was 17. She was, her parents said, "Okay, let me." This is what I don't understand. In 2017, we know about this. You're gonna take your 17-year-old daughter to an R. Kelly concert.
Here's the problem.
For why?
No, here's the problem.
For what?
And I feel like here's the thing. There are R. Kelly's just the beginning. In hindsight, everybody's gonna look back and be like, "Why would you do that?" In the moment, people are gonna take their daughters to B2K concerts.
No, do you hear the key words that you're saying to me right now?
Right.
B2K and a grown ass R. Kelly 2017. That's just 2 years ago.
You think there aren't young people that are going to Isley Brothers concerts?
I agree, but
to Gerald Levert.
No.
And
but do you hear
Tank?
are you hearing the music? Okay, let's really think about R. Kelly's music. Like, we know R. Kelly's music.
Yeah.
Sex Me, all them things. I'm not saying anything's wrong with taking your kid to a concert like that. What I do have a problem with is he actually brought her on stage. You think my fast ass little daughter's going on no damn stage?
But she's 17. Think about a 17-year-old now.
My 17.
You can't hold your 17-year-old.
This isn't
physically.
Chris Brown. This isn't Chris Brown.
Right.
I'm dragging.
How?
Hold on a second. What are you talking about? How?
She's 17.
He's doing this, and I'm doing this.
She's
ass. She's not of age. No, legally it's 18.
Exactly,
18.
which means in 6 months.
That's okay.
In 6 months.
In the 6 months, not in my presence. If this happens, that's for your business. But in my presence, it's not going to happen. So you allowed it to happen. Pause. Then from that point on, they had a meeting. Okay. I want to, get to know you. Your daughter says she can sing, so forth, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's set up a meeting. On a 1-on-1, your daughter goes and meets up with him in a hotel. You find out as the parents, you go down there to go and confront the situation and figure out why she's there. R. Kelly, a grown man, having a meeting with your 17-year-old daughter after meeting you as the parents, you don't think that, hey, let me stop and, call the parents? No, right?
No.
So that even they question them, like, didn't you know about all those other charges? Yeah, but he was acquitted. I didn't think it was, we let it go. And there was no thought in your mind, even after seeing this situation happen, let me question his motives. So then they said, the next time you meet up with her, we want to know. They obviously were talking on a 1-on-1 secretly. And then apparently from that point on, they said, we're always going to be where you're going, right?
Which is impossible with a 17-year-old.
But then they sent the daughter with her, right? And when the daughter was with her there, she's older than the sister. So she was like, okay, let's go out, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to a party. We're in a different city. She's like, oh no, we have to get permission from him. She's like, well, I'm a grown ass woman, blah, blah, blah. So she went about her business. When she came back, her sister wasn't there. That's her story. So she went looking for her. She found her in the studio and she tried to drag her out. She said R. Kelly, they all threatened her. They put her in the back of a car. They dragged her behind McDonald's. A whole bunch of, my thing is this, they threatened to kill you and your sister and your family. I understand you're scared if that is the case, if that's the real story, I'm just saying. But you don't think that, okay, my sister is clearly already on this. I'm going to work with him regardless. Whether that was a threat or not, you don't think you would say something to your parents? She called her parents, but as soon as her parents came down, her whole story changed. And now it's only now that this story is coming out to even her parents. And their whole thing is, oh, she was afraid too for our lives. Well, were you afraid for your sister's life when she was still working with him? And when she did turn 18, it's only when you guys have no control. So you might as well say something before she turns 18.
I feel like...
No, that part I'm kind of...
I can't.
I feel like every...
no. Would get scared.
You can get scared, but then why talk about it now?
No, but I feel like every person...
Now they probably feel less
no, because now you realize that your sister's not going to be a star through R. Kelly anymore. That's
she's
what
a whore.
it is.
She's a whore.
That, like, she's not coming back. So if I say something, it's not really going to threaten anybody because she chose to be in that life, and that's what she's doing regardless.
But her sister seemed to choose him for him over them a long time ago. Because if you're
but then maybe they were trying to fight for it, and then they realized whatever. So now I'm going to fight a different way.
We've seen what people will do for fame.
Yep.
We've seen the lengths that people will go to. People will make sex tapes, sign off on those sex tapes being released just because they're like, well, it'll put me out there. And the thought is, it's just a sex tape. Everybody has sex. Maybe a lot of people record it. I could
be a Kardashian.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
My whole family on.
No, but I'm thinking with her, even her, like, it's a sex tape. Everybody has sex. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, if I can put out a sex tape, and then from that sex tape, 5 or 6 or 10 years later, have a net worth of $150 or $200 million, sign me up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in the moment, everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, I would never, oh my God, because you don't look at it. So everybody that was working with R. Kelly saw a successful R. Kelly. You couldn't do this if you were selling your mixtapes. If it was Tory Lanez who was selling his mixtapes at Scarborough Town Center. He couldn't get away with selling these girls a dream and locking them up and doing all these things because what do you have to show me of where I can go and what I can be? R. Kelly, international superstar, one of the quote unquote king of R&B.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You just want me to come around with you? You want me to suck you off a couple times? You want me to lay up in your house? In your house, I don't gotta work. I don't gotta do nothing but just be up in your house, and I'm gonna become a star. Maybe not next week, maybe not next month, maybe not.
Yo, that
but
was like
all I have to do is this. I am not saying that R. Kelly isn't guilty of a lot of things.
A lot.
But the ones that are gonna be like, he held me hostage.
No.
He held me captive.
Yeah, it's really dramatic, for sure.
People.
For sure. But I personally feel that there's always two sides to a story, right? So like, I don't think that there were no victims at the end of the day, and some of them really might have been going in with a certain intention and it backfired on them 100%. Now that is kind of your fault because you were looking for something, but at the same time, there's also like conversations in the documentary where it talks about, you know, he said to them, I want to mentor you. He said to them, I want to work with you. I think you're so this, you're so that. So yeah, I mean, being young and naive can play a role in that, and at the same time, it's like, okay, if I want to be whatever, a singer, and someone says to me, yo, I'm a singer, and I'm gonna help you, I'm not gonna necessarily think, okay, his helping means I'm gonna turn into some type of whatever, for a dramatic whatever effect sex slave, right? So yeah, there is the part of people trying to become a star, but at the same time, there's also the part of like, what about the people that he legitimately said, look, I'm gonna help you? There's lots of people,
but that's the entire industry.
Even the same girls.
But there are also lots of stars in the industry who turn into stars from working with other stars,
right? But their story just never comes out. Because they hit stardom.
But then there's also sometimes it doesn't always turn out to be some like sexual situation either, always. So again, like, I mean, at the end of the day, these people really could have thought what they thought, especially being younger, and then got caught up and didn't know what they were. But some of those for now, the older women or certain people,
even the younger ones. Sorry, before you finish that, some of those younger girls, they said the same thing in the very beginning, but then the first encounter was sex. Suck me off, have sex with me, let's get in the bedroom. So they started off saying, he told me all these things, but your actions were instantly, let's do this, and then continued to just become, go to my hotel, meet me there, don't come out the room.
Okay,
that was it.
I understand that, but at the same time too, like, again, sometimes. Sorry.
No. I'm saying like that whole like what? How do you? And then you're gonna be like, oh my god, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
I wouldn't know this was gonna be our situation. Like that's like guys that we date now. And my thing is, it reminds me of dating in general. You date a guy, realistically, you find a guy or a girl, you find someone you like, and they tell you all the things that you want to hear. When you start seeing them say, yo, we're gonna go on a date, I can't wait to take you out, and they pick you up and they bring you to a back alley to go smoke, and then talk about, let's go to my mom's house and go in the basement and go smash. I'm sorry, I think I know what your intentions are, and I don't think that we're trying to go on dates at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I link you,
but
that's what it is.
Anybody, even if it's a young woman and she stupidly is like, okay, I'm gonna do this with this person because of who he is, that doesn't mean that if not all, even some of these allegations are absolutely true.
This is Jamie Sparks, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is
We're
Jimmy
gonna go roll it
Robbins,
over.
and you're
Just
listening
about 10,
to
15
iLive
minutes.
Radio.
I know cancel. Let's go.
Changing the way you listen to radio.
Yo, this is Keanu Quinn, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
This is Lavinia J from the UK, and you're listening to iLive Radio.
Hey, what's going on, everybody in cyberspace? This is The Groove Show with your boy, the crowd pleaser, DJ Mark Anthony. Don't forget, each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m., we want to put you in the mood for whatever the night has in store. I'm playing only the best feel-good, party rocking, body shaking music from funk to soul to reggae to R&B, house to salsa, and much, much more. We call it The Groove each and every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Keep it locked. It's the crowd pleaser, baby. You know how we do. We'll see you on the air. Peace.
This is Sharisha from The Spot. Catch me every Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. EST, playing the very best in neo-soul, jazz, underground hip-hop, art, music, poetry, and community, right here on iLive Radio.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
For me, oh, that wasn't me.
Just say that. Say it was me.
Hi, we're back.
Hi, we're back.
Hello. Yeah, no, what was I saying? I was just saying that being young, being excited, it doesn't, obviously, yeah, you should use a little bit more common sense, but I feel like if even any of these allegations are accurate the way they're describing it, nobody deserves that. You didn't sign up for that.
100%.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, and it's funny because I was actually having this conversation earlier today, and it's true. We will never know if any of what these people said is the truth, but there are certain things, as you were mentioning today, that we know are facts. Like, the man married a 15-year-old. You like young girls.
Period.
You were molested, unfortunately. You are psychologically damaged. So usually, a person who is psychologically damaged perpetuates that psychological damage, either, as they said in the documentary, being the person who initiates it or continues to receive the damage. So even if, like, yes, I agree, some of these stories seem ridiculous too. Some of these women, it's like, oh, okay, like, are you looking at money? Were you looking at money? Was it just about this? Was it just about that? At the end of the day, usually someone who has psychological issues, you're going to be manipulative. Yeah. And he chose to be the predator in his situation, right? So at the end of the day, that's why I kind of look at it as, I feel like in certain circumstances, of course, I know you guys aren't saying you agree with whatever if it was the case, but like, I don't think it all should just be looked at face value in terms of like, okay, he told you this, he told you that. Some of these girls were still young. Some of them were 100%. Still very impressionable. Some of them might have felt, oh, well, he's saying this, but he probably really loves me. Like, some of the girls were saying that, you know? So, excuse me, at the end of the day, I just find it very hard to believe that something is not true here. You know what I mean? Because from 19 how long, the man married a 15-year-old. We all know that's illegal. And he didn't get charged for that. But, like, even if nothing else ever gets proven, you should have been charged for something with Aaliyah. You know what I mean? So he's lucky he got off with that. And that had everything to do with money, power, fame. So why not later down the line, as you're playing with people and manipulating people, would money, power, and fame not come into play? You know what I mean? Like, some people, like, oh, I was being held hostage. You can walk out this door anytime you feel like.
And when they are all done, they walked out. That's all that happened.
Right. So in those circumstances, 100%, like, you just need to get your life, figure yourself out. Maybe you put yourself there, and he did end up brainwashing you, but you probably could have left a lot earlier than you did in some circumstances. You know?
Sorry, I want to say the 35-year-old or 34-year-old, whoever she was like a host or DJ, VJ, whatever the hell it was. She was saying she met him at 34 years old or whatever, and she had her job, but when she started dating him, she started to go to Chicago a lot often, and she realized, like, you know, we loved each other. Yeah, so that one was I decided to go down and live with him. I quit my job, and then he moved me into the house. So the house that he lived in was multiple women in that house, and they all had their bedrooms. Now, when they shown the house, I was like, this just seems like a regular big house, and you all could have just walked out that damn door. Hearing them say, oh, we were whispering, we have to try to text each other. You guys had cell phones? You guys had cell phones.
I know, he allowed
I'm so confused.
You
guys had cell phones. And even one of the women, I can't remember if it was her, but one of the women, she went on The View, and that was like I think last year or sometime like that.
Yeah, the young
and
girl.
She went on. She was very questionable. Yeah, she went on the View saying she was a survivor and she had to escape. So when they were like, "How did you escape?" So I'm waiting for this big story. Like, she had to jump out the window. They were holding her down. They locked her in chains. Like, I'm waiting for a serious story. She was just like, "My uncle lived down the road, so I just told him I wanted to go get some shoes from him, and he said okay." And I left, and I never came back. I left with my shirt on my back, as you should. And she left. So I'm just like, okay. But in the documentary, she never mentioned that story again. And again, to me, that seemed like, are you guys purposely trying to make her sound like, okay, that sounded very stupid? Because as I even you can see the whole cast on The View was like, that's how you just walked out. They're like they're waiting for the story, and she's like, yep, I just walked out and I never came back. Well, how were you a hostage? Like, even TMZ is trying to say, they said they don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome or if it was really like, you guys just made this up. You were just enjoying this, and you know what I mean?
I would love to talk to like a police officer in Chicago, because clearly these parents whose daughters went missing or whose daughters were being held captive must have contacted police at some point and been like, what can we do? And the police would have been like, if they're underage.
The parents of the 3 girls that are still living there, they contacted him, and I forgot the name of it. It's when you're
you check if there's something in the home, like if they
Yeah.
are at least okay.
you want to, so even if the daughters don't want to speak to you or they're not allowing you to, you can call the police and say you just want to have a check on my child to make sure they're physically not abused, in good health and whatever. And they did that on many occasions, and the police said they're fine.
So here's my question now. At that point, do you still blame R. Kelly? If the police
camera
go
like-
there and they check on them and they're just like, we're fine.
Now they're of age.
We're not going.
No.
We're
Well,
good
they're
where
of
we
age,
are.
I blame R. Kelly in the sense of, come on, like every child, even if they are enjoying where they're at and whatever, allow them to, force them even, like talk to your mom. You condoning this whole, don't speak to them.
But that's what he wants. He wants
That's what
that
he wants,
control.
right? But I feel like that's where I blame him. I feel like as a parent, you want to know that your child is safe. And so even if it was to say, call your mom, because again, he made it very clear he had rules. So you couldn't move into that house without knowing the rules and being okay with it. He met women, and one of the girls that came out on the documentary too, she didn't end up staying, but she was like, she met him, whatever, they had a relationship. She lied at first and told him she was like 18 or something like that, or whatever the case may be, but she was about 17 or so, or 16. And he still slept with her. He told her he had multiple women and was dating. And, then he told her about the house. And he said, in order to be in there, you have to follow these rules. You have to call me daddy. Like, he had these rules in place. These women were okay with that. And the ones that are living there now, you're not paying rent, I'm pretty sure. You're not buying your clothes. You're not buying your food. So even when they quote unquote claim that they're starving them, like you see some of these girls on TMZ and they're out at his concert, Hollywood shopping. They're doing them. Where's R. Kelly? Where's your boyfriend? Oh, he's touring. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's like, I think that is as much as the people, again, R. Kelly's guilty of a whole lot.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, I'm kidnapping people or I'm holding you hostage.
Take that out.
Like, legitimately. Because I feel like it's very simple. If somebody's being held hostage, captive, underage, there has to be some sort of law or protection where I can go to the police. My child, my 14-year-old, my 15-year-old daughter
ran away from home and
ran
we
away.
need her
She's
back
at this
or
house. She
something,
needs to come back home. If this never took place, I'm sure the police have had to investigate.
I agree.
It's R. Kelly. It's not those two brothers or whatever they were that had the girls in the basement. Like, you're
is. You know what I
unknown.
mean?
This
Don't
is
know what's
R.
going on.
Kelly, right? It's you want to know what he looks like? Here, Google him, pull his picture up. You want to know everything about him? It's right there.
there.
His address,
You
where
can
he
go
live
to
at.
his house. You're gonna check it out, and the police are going to be the ones to come out and be like, "Listen, they're there,
Yeah.
but they don't want they. I don't know what to tell you. There's so which it now says, what are we putting him in jail for? What are we legally charging him with? The reason why he's not in jail, the reason he hasn't been legally charged with anything, is because they can't charge him. What are they charging him
Well, at
with?
this point, I don't think he necessarily can, unless there's things happening that we don't know about.
The
only thing they'd have to do is go back to the past. Like, look at Bill Cosby. They're charging him for things over 10 years ago, too.
But that he admitted.
Aaliyah's
though.
family is denying it.
Well, that's what
Aaliyah
I'm saying.
herself
Yeah.
didn't even charge him because she's famous.
Yeah, only
She had her
you can
her
say
big
whatever.
shine. She was bigger than Beyonce. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like if she wanted to go press charges, she could have, but she didn't have a problem with it.
Everybody
Obviously,
just allowed him, and I think now it's just like, hey, I
she
get
didn't
it.
allow him.
No, I'm not saying to leave him alone.
No, I know
I'm
what
saying
you
they
mean.
did.
Okay.
They did at the time. Everybody just let him do what he was doing. He came up on charges. He beat those charges somehow, some way. I don't know how. He beat them.
Yeah.
And now it's
Weird.
just like, what I like
Well,
Lifetime.
he beat
What's
them
your
because
goal?
they denied it, too. Didn't
What's
the little
your-
girl
and
The
her
people
family.
that,
That
they-
shit, yeah.
exactly, they all denied it. And for me, I feel like
Do you think
They-
that that's not true, then, if they denied it? How y'all feel about that?
Oh, no, I think that's true.
You think it's true?
You on
So why
camera,
do you think
nigga.
they lied? Shame? I think they lied.
I think they lied because
they
he
wanted
paid
to.
them off. He
I
gave them a
think
grip.
He paid them, and
He
they
gave him a
wanted to.
grip and was like, listen,
Oh, that's
it
so
already
terrible.
happened. I've been smashing your daughter. She been coming back for it.
She
It wasn't,
wants
I didn't
to.
rape her. You look at the video, she wasn't raped. She wasn't held against her will.
But,
she wasn't.
okay, but stuff isn't always physical. It can be psychological.
But can you charge me for psychological damage?
Not, I wouldn't say psychological
And how do you
damage,
prove
but I
that?
feel like, well, psychologist.
Psychologists. But see,
Psychologists.
a lot of these women's stories don't add up. I think that's the main problem. Even watching them, I'm just like, that makes no sense. Because not once did you sound like you were really captive, like you couldn't leave. You all left. The ones that were on the show talk about I survived. Not once did you say he beat me to a pulp and chained me to the ground. You were just like, I left. I walked out.
Even the one with the sister that you mentioned, the sister where they said they threatened her life and her family's life and her sister's life. Baby girl, you are the older sister who was sent.
No, but I don't agree with this.
I do.
No. Because listen, let's think about it. You were sent there
to watch
with
your sister.
one purpose. You had one job. You had one job.
And then you get the details of the job, and then you went.
Your job was not to go clubbing or to go party. I didn't send you on vacation.
Okay, not that part. I'm not talking
But even
about
still,
that.
your
But
job
that's where
is
it
to
all went wrong.
Your job is to protect your sister. When they bluntly tell you so, you quote, they said they're gonna hurt your family and all these things. I don't believe her story. I'm just gonna say that straight up.
No,
like,
the party part, I agree with that portion. I'm just saying, I don't think it's impossible that if someone goes to protect someone, talks all big and bad, then they get pulled behind some friggin' alley.
Agreed.
And their life gets
But then her
threatened,
mom-
that they cannot, then all that big and bad talk, be scared
Which
all
is
over
fine.
again. I think that's very possible.
Which is
and then
fine.
she shuts up.
But then she called her parents to come down.
After
So for
the fact,
for
though?
me, yes, right after. So for me, I feel like if you're so afraid and you don't want to say anything because I'm too afraid,
But maybe she wanted her parents there to
Here's-
at least have some backup and reinforcement.
Here's
and then
my
your
problem.
parents come and you do nothing.
Here's my problem. If I'm your parent, if I'm going to box you when I see
Everything.
you because I sent you
Him or
there.
the-
Yes.
I sent you
Yes,
there
you had one
to
job.
watch your little sister, not to go to a party,
Yeah, okay,
not to
that
go to
part
a
I
club.
agree with.
But
And
that's
then-
where it all went wrong.
And then
had
months
you not
later-
gone to the
Party, I
club,
thought they were just
No,
going
she
somewhere.
went down there to watch her sister, and then when they were in the hotel, she wanted to go out just go out, like let's
Yeah,
just
it
do
wasn't a
something.
party.
had you
Even
not
a party, whatever. She
take
wants
her
to
with
go-
you, it's either she's
She
coming,
tried to take her
then
with
you
her.
She
stay
said no.
put.
She
Your
said
job
no.
is
It's to
here.
watch her.
Fair enough.
Because
I
when you
agree with
left,
that part.
That's when havoc.
is when she disappeared.
What I
You get what
feel is her
You
sister
had
was
one
like,
job.
I'm not
okay.
going anywhere,
I'm
and
just
she's
saying
like,
that I
I'm
don't
going out.
necessarily not agree that they threatened her.
No,
Or not
they probably
believe that they
definitely
threatened
did threaten her.
I don't
I'm
believe.
revisiting a conversation
'Cause I don't
you and
believe.
I had privately before this.
No,
I
I think they probably very well did threaten her. I do not disagree with that
She
at all.
disagrees.
I don't-
think I
Because
believe
your
it.
story to me doesn't make sense. Because when you did tell your parents, it wasn't until she was 18, and then they were all like, she was afraid. But like you said, it makes more sense to me. You went down there
Yeah, she
to
shouldn't have
protect
left
your
at all.
sister.
Agreed.
So then when you leave her and come back, I think you were afraid that you would get in trouble.
messed up.
And so therefore you came up with this big lie that they
Very possible.
they pulled me to
Okay, that is
a
possibility.
McDonald's
That's another
alley.
possibility. I agree.
So what?
Okay, that
So
makes
now
some
that
sense.
my thing is not to say that you have your sister and they're like, okay, now that I have my sister, don't do anything because they can hurt us. But I have my sister, so I'm okay. I won't say nothing. They still have your sister. So what makes you
But
think
isn't-
that they won't hurt her regardless, or rape her, do anything they want to do? Like my thing is, no matter what, if I do not have my baby sister in my possession and they tell me they threaten me already, I am not allowing that to just be that. Okay, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say
but
nothing.
that's why isn't that you said she called the parents right after because she couldn't find her.
But when their parents came down, they said, "What happened?" Nothing. She said
She
nothing.
didn't say nothing.
Yes, she.
I don't remember
Candace,
that's
I will
how
pull it
was.
up. I will pull it up
She
for
said
you.
nothing
She
happened?
said, "No, it was nothing, Mom. Whatever." She's like, "Are you sure?"
But they couldn't
yes.
find her at this point, and she said nothing.
She said, "No," because by that time I think they found her, and she was like, "No, nothing happened, Mom." The mom and the dad were like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "Yes," and they left it at that. Your parents flew down the next
remember it
day,
like that. Yeah,
and then
that's
everybody
different.
let it go. Your parents let it go. My parents wouldn't fly down there and be like, "Okay."
Honestly,
You know what I
you
mean?
called me for what reason?
Where's she at? You're going home.
Facts.
There's too much going on right now. I don't trust it. There's a lot going on in the news already. Certain things didn't make sense to me. Another thing I want to bring up is Charlemagne the God. Okay.
Oh my God.
My problem with him is a lot of people, like you were saying, all of a sudden they want to mute R. Kelly, boo him, whatever. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm not even gonna lie to myself. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not muting R. Kelly. Can I separate the man from the music? 1000%. I have many years ago. When he pissed on the girl years ago, I'm gonna stop liking the man. I'm not gonna stop and say that he's still not the king of R&B because his music is still amazing. And so therefore, I'm not gonna stop listening to your music, but I will never say, let me go take myself to your concert. Let me go pay for this. Let me go buy an album. Shit, I can stream it online for free. So for me, I feel there's certain things that I will not do in terms of supporting you financially. I know streaming still gets you hits. But at the same time, shit, it's going to have to happen because I love your music. And it is what it is. But
I'm going to buy you R. Kelly CDs once in a while so you never have to support him financially.
I used to have R. Kelly CD. I'm going to be real honest. Anyways, Charlemagne the God was obviously, I don't like hypocrites. And so Charlemagne the God was going off on R. Kelly. Oh, we need to mute him. He's a pedophile. He's this, he's that. And again, I agree with all those things. But then let's take it back. There was an interview that Charlemagne had, and he also got called out for this. And the same thing happened with this R. Kelly situation. Everybody turned a blind eye to this interview that he. So he was talking about on his show. The conversation itself, it was. I think the conversation they're talking about is when you're is drunken sex consensual?
Depends
that was
how drunk you are.
Okay. So
with his wife.
So there was a couple different conversations. So one of the conversation was, so in the interview he said, I got this girl really drunk. That wasn't the I got this girl really drunk. He said he slipped Spanish fly when he slept with her.
What? That's not drunk. You drugged her. What
And
are you talking about?
So the whole time they were like, so you drugged her, you raped her. He's like, woke up, and she's like, did we sleep together? Is it just you? And he's like, yeah. She was okay. That's fine then. But what if it wasn't? Now was that rape? 1,000 fuck. I think it was rape. Period.
Because he drugged her.
You drugged her. So they said if you liked each other, yeah. He's like, if you liked her, why would you need to drug her? He's like, because I'm a freak. And I just like freaky shit. So, it just kind of got me on.
If she's blacked out, how freaky can she get? She can't.
I don't know what Spanish fly does, if it makes you limb or it makes you ani, but he said he was horny. She doesn't remember doing it.
How freaky can she be?
Then there was another time he was talking about the first time he slept with his wife, who was his girlfriend at the time, and they were dating for a year. And they've been, he also slipped something, I think he slipped something in her drink as well.
Oh my God.
And this conversation, she was really drunk. They ended up having sex. And he mentioned that on the show, and then he brought her back on the show because he got a lot of backlash for it. That's also why he got kicked off the Breakfast Club, but also for this another situation. Well, another situation, underage girl. What? Yeah. See, so for me, I feel like there's so many other there's celebrities, and let's just be honest, in the entertainment industry in general, there's a lot. Elvis Presley, his wife was underage when he married her and moved her in. There was a bunch of different artists, especially Jerry Lee Lewis, thank you very much, who had I think she was 13 at the time. Everybody in the industry turned a blind eye to a lot of these things. And obviously back then, they say they were ridiculed, but they're not the way they do it now. Because I feel like we have social media. We can stop your music being played.
It was like back in the day,
it was accepted.
Women got married younger, had sex younger, so it was more accepted. Now we're trying to get rights and don't do this to young girls, which is good, obviously. But back then it was more accepted.
Agreed. And to me, I feel like mute R. Kelly if you feel like it. Just do it in silence. To me, I'm just saying, because I feel I feel like y'all should have muted him a long time ago. There was other artists who have muted him a long time ago. Stop listening to his music. Stop supporting him in many ways. And now you see other people now all of a sudden coming out because, now I feel it's really, really wrong. How? What was the difference when he peed on a girl, an underage girl? What was the difference when he...
It's that whole mob mentality. It's that whole... And that's why a lot of times I don't speak on a lot of things, because one, people won't even know the facts before they comment. They'll just hear somebody. So I'll get Candace's story, who got it from Delicia, who got it from whoever, and then I'll jump on it and be like, oh my God, and I'm gonna run with it. And so a lot of times people don't even know the facts for themselves. And two, it's just the thing for now. You know what I mean? The thing for now is mute R. Kelly, mute. But there are so many. Okay, before you mute R. Kelly, let's investigate every single artist who has slept with somebody, who has kids. You get what I'm saying?
That's why I think of the Charlemagne.
And it's just hey, if you're gonna do it for him, do it for everybody.
Yep.
If you're gonna do it for one, do it for everybody, and then keep that same energy when it's your favorite artist, when it's your favorite rapper, your favorite singer. Keep that same energy. Your friend. You know what I mean? Your family member. Keep that same energy,
all the way.
So.
And sorry, the other girl that Charlemagne was with that actually went to court, but she was actually 15 at the time. He was 22. and she also claimed he put a liquid in her drink.
What is
All these
up
are
with
slipping
this guy?
liquids. So, and she said she doesn't remember anything. She woke up and she said a man was kissing her, and she claimed she had to force the man off her, and she was running around naked, and she's seen Charlamagne, like, what's happened? Like, why? You know, like, I'm pretty sure she came there for him, and, you know, that whole situation happened. So, for me, I just feel like when I hear certain artists come out or people like Charlamagne and so forth, get your facts straight, because the same way they're accusing you and you're claiming this wasn't true and so forth, you have to take in everything. I'm not saying that R. Kelly is not who he is, because I think it's very obvious of who the type of person he is. But I feel at the same time, a lot of these stories, a lot of these women were opportunists in my eyes. I'm not saying all. I'm not saying they weren't mistreated, because I don't know. But I do feel that this isn't just even to say surviving R. Kelly. I think you guys were enjoying R. Kelly until you no longer enjoyed R. Kelly. And that's just my opinion. So.
I think a big part of that too is a lot of these girls were like under the impression that he loved them. They were the main girl.
Not all of them.
Well, no, but some
yeah.
of them.
Because he made it clear to some of them right away, like,
right.
I have
like
other women.
35-year-old
You're my girl, but you're going to call me daddy.
Some of them legit were like, oh, and then I saw all these other girls. I didn't know about these other girls. So it also could have been like feeling that they were legit like in a relationship. The guy cared about them. And then things definitely weren't what it looked like, and it flipped for them too. In their mind, things started to change for them too, you know.
But I feel for how long? Because I feel like the moment, like I said, I bring up the thing when you meet a guy on a date. If I meet somebody and the first 2 dates are him and I by ourselves, and the third date is, ooh, bringing in 2 other girls. Like, I'm like,
sure.
do you know what I mean? It changes the whole dynamic of how I view this person. Because I'm just like, so I thought it was about you and I. And I can understand that part. But the moment he starts saying, I need you to start sleeping with this girl, and she's going to eat you out, and this other girl's going to come in because I like this, it no longer becomes about you two. And at that point, I feel like again, many of those girls did, when they were ready, they left. But I feel like the lifestyle, who he was, a lot of them were super fans. Certain, you know what I mean? They stated, you know what I mean? So, so we're gonna end this because I feel like we can go on and on and on.
R. Kelly.
Anybody have any final thoughts of R. Kelly before we end this off?
You need to stop letting people of celebrity do whatever the hell they feel out here.
Yeah,
I agree.
And can we stop acting like we mentioned earlier that this is new news? It is not new to many of us. I think obviously the newer generation, maybe to them, and that's also, I feel like a lot of the hits from people searching and Googling mainly came from probably that type of generation because they never heard his music. I wasn't going back to play some of his old songs. Like, that didn't make me feel like, ooh, let me listen to some R. Kelly. Like, it wasn't.
I definitely watched the sex tape for the first time ever.
Things like that, but I seen it a long time ago.
All these years, only because of this documentary.
See, so things like that, it makes you curious, and you also want to collect your own facts and thoughts, because they did say a lot of these songs are about all these other women. So some people may have known the people or not, just are curious about what is exactly, because I feel like to me the music was just music, and I'm separating what he was actually thinking about at the time, because I don't know his thoughts.
Age ain't nothing but a number. How you gonna separate it?
Well, look at it. I'm not.
It feels like you're ready. How you gonna separate?
Like I said, I judge him. But Aaliyah, I'm not defending it. But Aaliyah did look older. I'm gonna be very.
She was little.
She was little, but she looked a little older. Like, she was a very mature soul. I'm not saying it was right.
She was a mature soul. You met her. She met her. She knew her soul. She was.
I'm not condoning. She's young and young, but I'm just saying. I'm not stopping listening to this music. So, Richie, before any final thoughts? No.
I'm good.
Okay. Thank you for tuning into bChic, Not Bougie. I'm your host, Alicia, alongside DJ Richie. Thank you, Candace, for coming in. Tune in next week. We'll be back next week, and so much more. And I'm not done. And have a good show.